The oldest piece of machinery I have is from 1909, and that thing is the only one in the country still functioning on a daily basis. It's like a time capsule of a machinery museum that functions with my antique employees also, that have been with me for decades. I sometimes have conversations with the machines of, why are you doing this to me? Or, thank you, God, for running. So I'm Joseph Switzer III, and I manage Queen Ann Ravioli. Businesses like this are disappearing. It's hard to find, the labor. It's also hard to find the clientele. And then there are people that are mass producing. There's no way to compete with a big pasta brand. These people have larger factories, more automated, more efficient machinery. But I feel that, we put our spin or our edge on it, and that's what makes us a little different than them. This is where I am, and this is where I'm always going to be. This is the production area of Queen Ann. Let me take you in for a look. Queen Ann Ravioli was started in 1972 by my father-in-law, Alfredo. He had previous experience working in ravioli or pasta type stores, and he wanted to go out on his own. And Queen Ann was born. I worked here from 82 to 85 when my father-in-law didn't want me to work here because I was dating his daughter. And I felt uncomfortable also. That finally he said, all right, we'll give you a try. I'm really not the owner in a sense. My wife is the owner. So, I work for my wife. So this is a mixer and a Gramola combination unit. It's an automatic unit. It's probably the newest thing we've got in the store, but it's at least 50 years old. A lot of places don't use a Gramola, but we want to make sure that our dough is smooth. There's no blemishes, there's no air pockets, which means the ravioli will not open in the water and you won't have cheese all over the place. This is our Queen Ann's pasta machine. The machine was made in 1909 in Manhattan, 68 Green Street. We also believe that this is the only machine of its type still in daily use, I'd say, in the country. All right, so this is Gerardo. He's a pastiere over here, and what he's doing is he's loading the machine with dough. At the very bottom of this is a die. The die will determine the shape of what pasta is coming out. Now what he's doing is he turned on the pump. We're building up pressure, and the hydraulic fluid under pressure is going to push that cylinder down, and the pasta is going to come out of the bottom, sort of like when I was a kid, Play-Doh was the toy that would be the same way. He'll cut away the first little bit of it, and then he'll go fettuccine, drying them on sticks like they did when this machine was new. So 1909, that pasta press was about $600. Today, a new machine to make pasta, that could be like a $50,000 machine to just make pasta. So it's an expensive business to get into because of the infrastructure needed. Now, when I'm in my office doing paperwork, I'm always listening. I'll know right away if something's wrong by the sound something's making. We always have a backup electric motor. We have a backup belt. I have backup gears, things that will break. We have chain, as if we were a bicycle store. We had the pasta machine break once, the main machine. It's from 1909. Something's broke. Let me look at it. Oh, what do you mean? It's broke. Well, am I going to break it again if I look at it? And the next day when everybody's walking in, oh my God, here we go. What are you going to do? Click and what'd you do? I says, I fixed it. How'd you fix it? I says, I took the time to look. This is one of the oldest machines I have. This is a 50-count ravioli. This machine here has got to be about 75 years old. This is the hopper, we call it. This is where the dough goes. That's the top layer of the ravioli. And here in the hopper in the rear, the dough gets fed through, and that's the bottom layer of the ravioli. As they meet and come through, you get an injection of the filling inside. There's a fan in use over there to just take that little bit of moisture that make the dough stick. And then these variety of wheels cut the pasta across. That's so that when you put that in the water, it'll break apart on its own. As it cuts, to make this the correct size, it takes off the edge. So now this edge is reusable. We try to, not waste anything. If you're Italian, the last thing you do is waste food. You don't waste food. today we may be using about like 3,000 or 4,000 pounds of flour. And this is sort of slow in a sense. You know, the weekend it's a lot more. Oh, we get about 10,000 pounds of flour delivered a week in here. We're probably spending about $25,000 to $35,000 on a weekly basis just for the consumables. There might be 4,000 or 5,000 pounds of cheese. Of all the ingredients that go into a regular cheese ravioli, the imported Italian pecorino romano is the most expensive ingredient. The ricotta, the impastato, forget about it. This is the Crepe machine. Oh, this machine is got to be 60 years old. And each of these pans picks up oil, just like you'd put in a frying pan. So as the plate comes over the batter, which is pumped up, it covers the plate. The plate will flip, and then as it goes around, it goes through the heat, comes out the other side cooked. Then he removes it by hand, stacks them up into 7-pound increments, and then they come over to this station, and this gentleman fills the crates into the Manicotti. Manicotti is sort of a tube-like pasta filled, not sealed, so you can't put them in water. Now this is a sausage press. If you're in a salamaria, you're gonna see something like this making sausage, a machine that's used for a whole different industry, but that works with us. And everything is handmade, 6 get put in the box, you know, all by hand, all by hand. The biggest challenge of being a business owner is keeping the business going and dealing with everything from money, machinery, to attitudes, employees. The major costs to run this business would be labor, right? Which is the biggest single outlay the store makes, you know, to keep everybody happy, keep everything running. Then would be utilities, you know, obviously the electric being the biggest utility used, and then there would be the insurances for everything that you would have to have. No matter what, a certain amount of money has to be made on a weekly basis, daily basis to run this store. You always have to save for the rainy day. And then, you know, it could rain a lot more than you thought, so you have to adjust. So this is a tortellini machine, and as you can see, it's making tortellini. Right now we're making a cheese-filled tortellini. There's a lot more going on than what goes on in the ravioli machines. This machine requires its own specific backup machine, which would be what I call the dough breaker. This is really a sheeter. So this is Roberto, he's the pastiere, we call him. And Roberto makes all the tortellini. Roberto, how many years you working here? 30? 28, almost 30 years. See, I'm almost correct. A lot of the guys that are working here have been with me for decades. We all grew up here together. So what's happening here is he's making dough. And as the dough is coming out, he's going to fix it around the roller. The dough then is going to continue to put itself on the roll until it becomes big enough to be put into here to feed into the machine. The dough, as you'll see, goes on there like a paper towel roll. So as the thing is pulling in the dough, feeding it, if you looked in here, there is circles. The dough gets pushed through the circle, cut into the form. As it's cut, another arm pops out and injects filling into it. After the filling is injected, it's flapped, and then as you can see, brought around and sealed, and then it's dropped down. Everything has to happen at a certain point. It's very intricate. It's a nightmare if this thing goes down. A nightmare. These are something that are always breaking on the tortellini machine. This is called a T-nut. So this would be how you control the filling, by where you would slide this in or out. So when I have these made by a machine shop, I'll have them make a dozen, and maybe these will last 2 years or so, you know, through normal use. But you have to have parts. What's happening on these racks here is he's doing a little bit of a drying, so they won't stick. And then what happens is after we shake these racks up, right, and it's all as dry as can be, then it'll go right into a packing station. Just off the top of my head, we might make 25 different types of ravioli, different shapes, and then when you count the pasta and everything else, there it's like at least 50 different cuts that we rotate around in and out. So this is a round ravioli machine. This is the biggest seller of the round ravioli. I gotta be making at least over 1 million boxes of round ravioli in a year. After the filling being injected, the upper wheel is forming the circle and sealing the top to the bottom. And that lower wheel that's a little forward is actually cutting the ravioli from the main sheet. This is a very thin dough. Some places might use a thicker dough and use less cheese because you've met your weight of the ravioli itself, but we don't do that. The ravioli come out and get hand-packed into what we're doing now is a bulk tray. And then we date them, code date them that these ravioli were made today, so we can keep track of things. The wagon will hold 200 boxes, and then when that's full, they go into the freezer. Boxes is a big expense, maybe 7,000 or 8,000 a week. We could be producing 1,500 to 2,000 boxes of ravioli a day, and then that's not counting what we're doing on the pasta press, long and short goods. That could be 500 pounds worth a day. I'll sell a box of ravioli, a 16-count round, fresh made, and they'll be about $9 a box on the ravioli. What total revenue for 2025 is under $2 million. I'd say we do about 75% of our business is wholesale and 25% is the retail. Now there's other people that may want to sell ravioli and they may want to have their own name on it. So you may be eating my ravioli with someone else's name on it and not know it. Yeah, businesses like this are disappearing. Retail is shrinking because the neighborhood is changing. And then a lot of Italians, people that would eat this product, have moved out and moved away. So, you lose a little bit on the retail. It's hard to find, the labor. It's also hard to find the clientele. And then there are people that are mass producing. Now, when I grew up in Brooklyn, you were closed on a Sunday. Everybody respected the Sunday. But when the mall opened, now everybody's open on a Sunday. So then you started seeing things disappear, even back then when I was a little kid. So for example, a small business is important because when you had hardware stores, you could walk in and just say, I want a hammer. Now if you want a hammer, you have to park in a lot, walk 150 feet, go into a Home Depot, get lost in the aisles, get on a lane, and 15 people later, there's your hammer. And that's why I think you need the small stores. There's an interaction where now the small store may be able to tell you how to use the hammer.
You better get the microphone and start singing on a Friday.
I'll see you soon. Yes, the windows look cracked.
It sort of makes me sad in a way, because what I see now happening is everybody is sort of isolated, not willing to interact or help, get involved. No one wants to get involved. Personal self, I'd like to take it a little easier and, let my son lose a little of that hair like I did running this place for all these years, and then spend more time, like my wife and I, This is my son, Joseph Switzer III, the heir apparent to Queen Anne.
I mean, all my life I've been coming here. I remember coming here after school, but then like mid-20s I started actually making the stuffed shells. I am the sole maker of the stuffed shells, and other than that, it's sort of just, wherever I can float around.
He's easing into it little by little. It's a lot. The office will probably be the next step in terms of this is the pricing, watching everything going in and out of the bank. It's a sort of a mom and pop business, and you have to really watch everything.
I mean, as long as everything is still working and it's coming out the same, I don't feel like changing anything, but maybe in the future they got a little robot that'll close all the boxes for us. That'll be a lot easier, but that's it.
Do you have a business strategy?
Succeed is my strategy. I have a lot of people lately saying, please don't close, please don't leave, we need your type of stores around. That's the biggest thing I hear now. And then it all depends on who's saying it. We would have our mother come in decades ago with the daughter. Then the daughter comes in with her daughter. So it was also generational in a way, which I was always very happy about, You stay in one spot long enough and just do something right. I suppose the legend then grows around you. I think the trick is, can you do it every day the same way for 20 years? That's the trick. Keep people want to pat me on the back, and sometimes it's like, okay, thank you, but, what I'm doing is just what I'm doing every day, and I'm doing it every day for 30 years. So if you did it every day for 30 years, you would become an expert at whatever you did. Throwing darts, throw a dart every day for 30 years, and you'll hit the bullseye every day after that.